management leadership. And second page, objective, which is I think you can read it on your own. On third page, this is going to be our plan together for the first half, not the first half actually, the whole course, leadership, which is 1.5 credits. This is new to me. Normally we do 3 credits. Therefore, we try that together. All right, so we will have 8 sections together without, it will not include midterm. In fact, I have been told that I'm not allowed to have midterm. Therefore, we're going to have just 1 test, which is going to be final exam. Personally, I don't like it because it's just 1 test and then, it's so you make a difference on your grade. But, we have no choice. Therefore, this is going to be our plan. Today we start with introduction leadership, and as you can see that we will have case, and this is also part that I'm so gonna be hard, I think, for both of us. I find that case study is essential for graduate level for MBA, but since we have just only 8 or maybe 7 if not includes the first section. And you guys, like 40 something students, end up with, we don't have to big group. But therefore, and so we have, maybe we can do just only 5 cases. And the reason that it's going to be difficult for me, because normally we have like 15 sections, because it's 3 credits. So, we have like case this week, and next week we can do lecture, other things. But as you can see, we probably cannot afford that. Maybe we have to start case by next week. So if you group 1, you probably have, not a lot of time to prepare, but this is life. We talk about, grouping together, but this is just, our plan. And especially in this semester, I try to do something different, which is, if you take a look, on February 13, we're gonna have simulation. I'm gonna do, well, not I, but we're gonna do game. Simulation that this game we got from Harvard. Not only that they have case study, but they also have game simulation things. This is talking about group teamwork, leadership, climbing Mount Everest. I don't know. This is going to be the first time that I use game in teaching. Let's see how it turns out. But I would like to try something different. Maybe just lecture and case study. Yeah, probably yes, it's typical, but maybe we can try something, and maybe you guys can give me feedback if you like it or not. Should I continue use case in the future? So therefore, we end up with this schedule. Next week for group number 1, you will have to prepare for your first case, handling and emotionally, so it's in your textbook. And case 2, decision making. Case 3, you are on fire. Case 4 is office. And we have simulation, motivation. And we will conclude the class with your paper and presentation. All right, so this is our schedule. Any concerns, comments so far before I continue in details? Okay, if not, it means that you guys have to get in a group. I need 5 groups. Do you have groups already? 5 groups? How many groups do you have for? I have been told that you had class yesterday.
Usually 5 as well.
5. So you can go with that group. If you like, you can form a group.
Okay.
Do you have class president? To someone that will communicate with me.
That's me.
You, Jacob?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I could be wrong, but from your look, you look like exchange student, or you?
I'm not an exchange student.
You are not exchange student.
No, not at all.
I thought that you're exchange student.
Sorry. Oh, my skin color, right? Yeah, not quite.
Not you look and everything. So yeah, normally we don't have a lot of international students. So, all right. So Jacob will be the one that communicates with me. So you have my email.
Yes.
And if you want to get my line, that's fine too.
Sure.
It's going to be, the one that will communicate with you the rest of the class. Alright, so that Jacob, I need your help. So you need to give me the list of group members, one group, all 5 groups. And since it's something that asks your favor to do something for me, you have responsibility, so I will give you power, which is you have authority to give number to the group. It's up to you. If any group can be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 5. Maybe you can go with maybe just lucky draw or whatever. So it's up to you. This is your authority. But anyway, group number matter because if group number 1 next week it's gonna be your kiss. So it depends when you would like to do your kiss. So hopefully you can really go think out together. Anyway, so let's talk about doing case study. What I expect and anything that maybe you have comments or something that suggestion that you want to add, that's feel free to do so. When you, for example, if you're the host of the case, meaning that we have 5 groups. Group number 1 host case 1, group number 2 host case 2, and so on. Okay. So for the one that be the host of that case, you have to do at least 2 activities. One activity is to do presentation about that case. What does it mean by presentation? When you look at the case 1, highly and emotionally intelligent and so this is just a part of the title of the case. This case belongs to individual difference. Therefore, group number 1 have to present to the class about idea how we different, which is you can consult your assigned textbook, the one that you already have. But it doesn't mean that you will limit your research just on that, just from that textbook. You can go with other textbook. That's gonna be fine. But I do not encourage you just to Google. Why? Because when you Google, you got something, but you cannot be sure if it's can you trust that information? Because anyone can write anything on the internet. We want something that have publisher, have editor, so we can be sure about accuracy, about information from the source of article or maybe something that talk about those ideas and concepts. All right. So, but maybe you can very good start from your textbook. Look at the chapter that deal with individual difference. But since we don't have a lot of time. Not only when we're talking about individual differences, it includes not only personality, but it's also include of attitudes because we can different in terms of attitudes, values, or perception. But we don't have a lot of time to cover off that. Maybe my focus will be on personality, just for group number 1, to know that when you talk about individual difference, you probably just go right to just only personality. But a lot of type of personality that are interesting. Therefore, maybe you can start from the textbook or maybe something else that you would like to add. For example, I find that most Thai organizations, they like to use this DISC. Personally, I don't like it because there's no research back up that idea. But for some reason, the one who bring this idea to Thailand, which is one of Thai consulting firm, they do a good job in selling that material. Therefore, end up with SCG, PTT are using that type of personality in the organization. So I don't mind if you would like to include that in your presentation. So we learn about that, and then how much we like that, we can talk about that later. All right. So this is one activity, and in that presentation, not only include about idea and concept that back up that case, that group have to talk about the case, which is they tell about hiring person with high EQ and so and so, which is based on it from your textbook. But group number 1, which is host case number 1, don't have to answer questions in another case. When you look at the case in your textbook, there's question following the case. But job of the host not to answer those questions. Because after that presentation, I will ask our group, to get together in your group and answer questions. Maybe I pick questions from textbook, or maybe I just come up with my own question. It depends on how presentation go. I would like to be flexible and adapt to the situation. You know, how student interested, what subject that student are interested in. Okay, so meaning that, well, if you very diligent, you would like to, prepare your answer before class, maybe you have to do it again, if I change question. So this, so you, it could happen, all right? For the group that is not the host of the case, will be given maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to answer question. I would take the time into consideration when I grade your answer. I'm not looking for something that have very perfect from the time that I give you. But the reason that I have you do in the class because to make sure that you actually do brainstorming. It's not just this one, do this question number 1, number 2, number 3, and 4. And I would like you to pay attention to presentation. Therefore, if you pay attention to presentation, you have a good chance, to have material to answer and come up with good answer for your case. All right. But if you're not the host of the case, you have to do the case. But in the class, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to prepare. You have to. So before you attend the class, I encourage you to look at schedule. So for example, next time we're gonna have case number 1. So make sure that you read case before you attend the class. You should not just go to the class without anything. Get prepared. Alright, that is mean to do case together. So each group will have one chance of case study presentation along with a paper. Not only do you have to do presentation, but along with that, you have to submit your report. Well, I'm not stick with the length of the report, because some students ask me how long that we are talking about, length of report. I don't want to give the number because it's just like when I give the number, most students tend to stick with that number. Just go, with the length that you feel comfortable with, and then I will give you feedback. Especially group number 1, I will take into consideration your group number 1. Just you probably don't really clear about my expectation, and probably you have less time to prepare. But anyway, just keep going. We must have group number 1 anyway. So just come up with that arrangement. That I hope that everyone will be happy with this arrangement. Anyway, that's case study. For the case of this course is short. It's just like sometimes just half page. The probably the longest one is 1.5 page, which is very short. Compared to other cases that you will have in the future. In the future, probably you have like 20 pages or maybe even 30 pages. But for a case in this course, is just for you to understand idea and concept. I use that case to be to jump start to the concept that I would like to discuss in the class. Therefore, it doesn't have to be very complicated case that we use. All right. So just get you warmed up in the program, especially given that you are this is your first semester. All right. Any question about doing case? Concerns? Good. Okay, so that's about case. Next, next page. Well, you already for media one, probably you see it later. Email, Facebook. I don't have Twitter. I'm not executive, I'm not manager, but for executive or manager, I think you need to have Twitter. But for me, I don't. But I have Instagram, but I'm not actively Instagram for some reason. I don't find Instagram is me. That and next textbook. You already have that textbook, Robbins Judge. That edition. This is the newest one. I like to change the textbook every semester because I would like to read new ones. Okay, that's the one that we're using in this semester. And here we go. We have this. You already have this copy, right? The best performing CEO in the world, 2018. Do you? I think I believe that you have this. Read this article. Next week we will discuss about this article. Actually, it's very short one. It's look, long, but just picture because they give picture for, or 1 to 100 best CEO in the world, not in the US, but in the world. So read this article, and we will discuss about this article, something that you find interesting, or something that you don't like, or something that I would like to add. This is not the first time that they come up with this ranking. And I follow the ranking since they started it in that first year. So I have something insightful, about the ranking to add. Anyway, I would like you to read this first before we, get in detail. Make sure that you read aside reading. For some semester, students fail to do so. They just thought that I'm not serious about this. I'm serious. And if you don't read your essay article, I have something to do, which is I'm gonna include that in your exam. So what happens if you read this article? I will ask you, should I include this in your exam? Because you're responsible enough, so you should be able to, help me to make decision. That I start reading next time. I wish I have more, but since we don't have a lot of time, therefore just one. But if you enjoy it, you can tell me so I can add more essay article. Just let me know. And the person that enjoy reading this type of stuff, maybe because every Monday I have to do radio show about business administration. The title of the show is Innovative Wisdom. Therefore, I need to find material to talk on my radio show. So if you would like to follow every Monday 9 in the morning until 9:30, July Radio Station 101.5. Anyway, that's not a must because it's in time. You don't have to. Okay. But anyway, I probably borrow something from my radio show to discuss with you. All right. So page 5. We have final exam 40%. Quite a lot, for one exam, 40%. But what I did last semester, we have 2 exams. We have midterm and final. If students are very happy with midterm, they don't have to take final, just take that at that 40%. But if not happy with that midterm, they can take final and take that final to be 40%. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to have midterm in this semester, therefore just one time. So good luck. What can I say? I wish I could be more help. But anyway, that's final exam 40%. And we have group works. Group works, this is your case study. That's, you have one presentation, one report, and four case in the class. And you're gonna have paper and presentation. I'll talk about that, more next time when we have an idea about what we are doing. So altogether, one group you have 2 papers. One paper dealing with your case, and one paper is your term report. And also 2 presentations. One presentation about case, and one presentation is the paper. Topic of your interest that you pick to do for your term report. That's gonna be your 20%. And we have 15% for participation. It's quite a challenge for me to do participation in Thailand. Students tend to be very shy to share your thoughts and ideas. But this is MBA. This is the way that you can contribute. As you all know that to get into July MBA is pretty competitive. Therefore, you guys are good. So bring the good things that you have inside the class. We can learn from each other. I'm not the one that will teach you. I'm just look at myself as facilitator to help you to learn from each other. Therefore, I would like you to encourage to share your idea, participation, and maybe other contribution that I see that is nice, you contribute to the class. Maybe starting from today, I will check that. Meaning that every time when someone contributes something to the class, you get one check from me. And one person can get more than one check more than one check in one section. For example, if you're so active tonight, you probably get 4, 5. And then for when we finish everything, so after we end that X section, I put every check together, and then I come up with like range. From this number of check to this check, you get like full score and so on. This is what I'm gonna do. And for your participation is also assigned work. Maybe in some week we have like in-class activity, and that will go to your individual evaluation. Therefore, when you look at evaluation, it includes group and individual. But I try to have individual part to a little bit higher than group work, because in group work sometimes we have like 3 writers, which I cannot tell. But I hope it will not happen with me. But anyway, that is my system. Any question about my system and evaluation or suggestion, maybe? Okay, no, good. The way that, yeah?
The final exam is an open book test.
Well, I will have you guys design. I will ask you which type of exam would you like to have. And maybe if you told me that you have good responsibility, I can trust you. I will ask you to help me write question. I'm gonna mirror your behavior. So therefore, if you would like to be, you would like to have open book exam, yeah, we can talk about that. Or closed book exam, but keep in mind that nature of question will be different. And when professor grade, your answer will be different from those type of format. When we getting close to that, we discuss about what you probably like or don't like about each type of exam. All right? Maybe you remind me, when we have to talk about that.
Sure.
Probably 2 weeks before exam, for students to have enough time for preparation. All right, so that's exam. Anything else that you would like to know? But normally I have 2 grades. I have A and B plus, and normally I have more A than B plus. Normally, because students were so good. It doesn't mean that every group have to be the same. Just would like to tell you in advance that I have no reason to give more A than B plus, because I'm senior enough that nobody would like to check my work. So that's just okay. Let me do what I want to do. Therefore, I hope that you will pay attention, you show your effort, and that's we're gonna have fun together. My philosophy of life is to try to be serious. So we try to have fun as much as we can in every minute in our life. Anyway, so that's evaluation. All right. Before we continue, let me talk about my rules, so you understand my expectation. I'm pretty sure that your program tell you to do, tell about class policy. But I think, it's my obligation to tell you what I want, directly. So when you know, and if you can do it, I will be thankful for that. But if you can't, I will try to understand. But this is just what I'm looking for. First of all, I would like to start on time. So I know that you have work to do, and traffic in Bangkok is hard to predict, but try to make it on time. Because we don't want to waste our time waiting for someone who are on their way. This is one thing, and I will finish on time. Because lots of people depends on us. For example, cleaning lady, we don't want to disturb them. Therefore, start on time, finish on time. That is my policy. And second, please show classroom etiquette. I think that to show that you're professional, in terms of professional student or even at work, please do not use your cell phone in the classroom. I know it can be difficult for some of you who used to have cell phone and use cell phone maybe every minute, but this is not the way that you should do. To pay attention in the class and know such thing about multitasking. When you try to do several things together, you lose one thing. And since the time that we have only 3 hours together in a week, therefore I would like you to try your best, pay attention and focus. And when and especially when maybe you understand what I'm saying, when you try to say something and nobody listen to you and they just use their cell phone, it doesn't show that you respect the person that's that start talking. And for me, I will not use my cell phone in the class either because I would like to be professional. Therefore, we show respect to each other. Have like good classroom etiquette. But for food, drink, I don't mind. As long as if you clean your area, that's not gonna be a problem for me, right? So that. Before we continue with our material that I planned, let me check about your background so I know what I should do. Most of the time we have a lot of engineers. So show hand if you have background in engineer. So anybody have background in engineer? Yeah. Okay. What about accounting? A lot too. Okay. Business administration. Oh, we have just a few. Surprisingly. Econ. Okay, we have some econ. Political science. Few, just one. Okay, and anybody who hasn't show your hands where you're from. What is your background? What's your background? Faculty of art. Faculty of art.
Art and design.
Art and design. Okay. Science. Okay. Education. Yeah.
Communication arts.
Okay. Finance. Into that. Have you met before? Really? Maybe you do remember.
Sure.
I'm teaching MTT.
I study OB, but with
No, not OB management, MTT. For undergrad, I teach only management and organization. No? BBA or Thai. But it doesn't matter, I teach both. I teach Thai and BBA. Anyone that haven't told me about your background? So we're quite diverse. We have lots of engineers, we have lots of accountants, and some other fields.
We have some law.
And where is that person? Okay, from law. Okay. Nice to meet you. Okay, so in that case, let's get started. I think it's worthwhile to talk about this idea and concept. Given that General Prayut Chan-o-cha often mentioned about Thailand 4.0, and it doesn't come from us. Actually, it's from World Economic Forum, Professor Cross, that's talking about revolution in business in the world. Well, starting from before industrial revolution, we just produce what we would like to have in household. We use just what we have, but it's not enough. Beginning this is what they call it first industrial revolution. Produce and sell. In terms of in factory, have water, powder, powers, steam power. That just get started in industry. But since demand was very high in everything, we have a lot of people population. Therefore, it's continue with second industrial revolution has mass production, assembly line, electricity. Maybe this is the time that lots of people talking about Ford motor when they produce car. how can they come up with a way to increase their efficiency or their productivity with the IBM concept with assembly line. Using job specialization, if you come from econ, probably you're familiar with Adam Smith. They came up with to produce with lots of people in industry is better than just class that just have one person to do everything for work activity. That is happened at a time. During first and second industrial revolution, main resource or land. If you own land, you landlord, you have power, something like that. At that time, they try to come up with way to improve their efficiency and effectiveness. That is at the time. And then for the time that we getting close to maybe we are in transition, third and fourth. For third industrial revolution, this is time that we have automation. For example, we use robot in the factory, or we have ATM. We don't have to go to bank, but we can withdraw or deposit money at the ATM. That is third industrial revolution. But now we are getting into fourth industrial revolution, which is we have like AI, we have AR, we have VR. You can understand and see the difference between AI and AI, right? For AI, not just only they do what they tell them to do, them is computer, but they can think. For example, maybe you heard about AlphaGo from IBM, right? AlphaGo that they play chess and they can win champion. That is from AI. That machine can play chess and win human being. This is AI. They can not only that, they have information, but also they can process that information and come up with that decision. Or maybe we have AI in terms of like chatbots. When you go to web page, and then you have question asking, talking with customer service. But actually, most of the time now today, you're talking with AI. Not real human being. This is how we imply that. Or even in Facebook, most people on my Facebook are my students. And one student mentioned something like she post something about she's so worried about her IS or her dissertation, have to write a paper. But after that, maybe just like 5-10 minutes that she saw ads in Facebook talking about, let me help you to write your report, something like that, or your IS, which is quite and this is from AI. Maybe if you maybe this has happened to you and it's happened to me when I Google something, just Google, and then when I go to Facebook, I find ads that have something to do with what I Google that I'm looking for. So this is also example that we're talking about like AI, that they try to use that information that they got and come up with something that to add value to business. And this is the reason why, when I just mentioned that for the first and second industrial revolution, main resource were land. But for third industrial revolution, main resource were knowledge, all right? But main resource for fourth industrial revolution is, can you take a guess? Not really.
Big data?
No. Main resource, that's, nowadays that we, in the time that we are entering to fourth industrial revolution is information. As and this is something that I also heard from IBM. I read an article interviewing IBM CEO, and it said she actually, for me, since IBM's technology company, it's only a she, but she's like 50 something. So it's for me, I think it's interesting. But anyway, she mentioned that the main resource for IBM right now and probably around the world is information. For example, like AI. Basically, AI is about information. Right? Information is not just about search engine that Google is doing. It's just a small part of information that we can use. We can use information in tons of ways. For example, IBM come up with AI that help to diagnose disease, meaning that if for a patient you don't have to go see a doctor, but maybe you can have like that AI to come up with a way to cure that disease. And and this is we're talking about world-class expertise. that they try to put that expertise in the AI, and they also apply that AI in other area, and also that's augmented reality. So this is something that we are experiencing, something that we have to adapt and adjust ourselves. Given that, especially right now, this is the time that things change very fast. Maybe you guys are familiar with someone compare incidents right now as VUCA, VUCA, to explain nature of business world right now, which is V stand from V. We stand from volatility. It's move very fast. Things change very fast. Right nowadays, even though you're good, but if you slow, probably you cannot take advantage. You have to be very fast to take action. You have to be responsive to customer needs. You have to, seize opportunities. So this is big, but things change very fast. As you can see that product life cycle gets shorter and shorter. Maybe you look at like car, cell phone, and this is what influence from technology that make us to come up with new things faster. All right, so that is volatility. V and U. What you can stand from?
Uncertainty.
Very good. Yes, uncertainty. This is normal, right? Uncertain is certain. We cannot expect something for sure because anything can happen. Okay, and it make our life to be difficult when we cannot predict. So it's increased risk that we have to manage. We have to manage risk. We cannot just avoid risk, because if you avoid risk, probably you avoid the profit. Therefore, we have to find a way to handle or to manage risk that we experiencing. Okay, that is U. And C. What is C? To explain about characteristic of the world nowadays. C is
Change, general.
well, not really. C is maybe something similar to your status in your Facebook. I see some of my students post that status like it's complicated. What does it mean by your status is complicated? It means that more than 2 persons in a relationship. Therefore, it's complicated. If it's two, well, not really complicated. Simple. Meaning that we have a lot of factors that we have to put into consideration. From politics, from social cultural, from technology, natural resource, that we have to deal with. It's make our life to be not simple anymore. That and A is
Ambiguity.
very good. Yes, ambiguity. Because nothing is like this is black or white. Our world right now is very colorful, so you have to be able to live with that. So and this is make our life, or business world to be even more challenging. So but when we're talking about fourth industrial revolution, one industry that experiencing this turbulence, maybe a lot, but actually a lot of industry are affected by fourth industrial revolution, but one industry seem to affect faster than other industries, banking industry. So you see that banking, not only in Thailand, but I think it's around the world. They're talking that they have to close down their branches and turn those branches into different service that they can provide to their customer. And they have because they have mobile banking for consumer to use, something like that. So so lots of people, they think that this AI or AR, VR will replace human being or employees in the organization. What do you think about that? Should be afraid of AI, that AI will steal our jobs? No, why not?
There are many parts that AI cannot replace,
Such as
such as some arts, and then
you
content
think they cannot
creating.
do art?
No,
Mhm.
and not from our area, and then content creating.
You know what? Especially in art, AI can help in designing, and it can design very, very fast. Yeah. Have you guys have a chance to see a clip that Google that they use AI communicate with customer, and for me at the first time when I listen to that clip, I cannot tell which is AI, which is human, because it looks exactly like human talking to each other. So the technology is well developed that AI can do lots of things. Something that maybe this is an issue that Mark Zuckerberg has debate with Elon Musk, talking about effect of AI. Something like Mark Zuckerberg seem to favor AI, but for Elon Musk, try to make us to take caution about using AI, something like that, because maybe AI can not only have that benefit, but maybe have something that we have to be aware of. But anyway, lots of people they believe that AI can be a threat in terms of human being, in terms of working labor force. But for me, I don't think so. I have reason. When you look at that third industrial revolution, we began to have automation, we have robot in industry, but we still experience labor shortage. And given trend right now, we don't have a lot of population. So probably AI, instead of just be a threat, it can be complement that we seem to don't have enough labor force in our society, especially in Thailand. You guys know that we have lowest birth rate in ASEAN after Singapore. Singapore have the lowest one, and after Singapore is Thailand. Therefore, we entering aging society, meaning that we don't have a lot of labor force in our society. We need someone to do work. Therefore, AI can be a lot of help. Not be a threat, but AI will be a threat if we cannot adapt or adjust, because things change very fast. But as long as you keep learning, you can live in this world. All right, but one thing that I would like to add, when we're talking about fourth industrial revolution, most of people, I think, including government, seem to believe that everything has to be on the internet. But for me, at least personally, I don't think that is necessarily true. For example, I would like to share with you example from Amazon. Amazon started that business from e-commerce, right? But now what happened to Amazon? Amazon have physical store, which is something that I would like you to look at.
Speaking of giants, Amazon has already changed the way that we shop online, and now it's hoping to lead the way in how we shop for groceries as well. Amazon Go, the company's brick and mortar grocery store, allows customers to walk in, grab their items, and just go. No lines, no cashiers. Simple as that. The first smart grocery store opened in Seattle this week. That one is set to open to the public in early 2017. The company ultimately plans to open nearly 2,000 brick and mortar stores. Laura Stevens is a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. She wrote about this development. Laura, we've been hearing that brick and mortar stores have been on the decline for many years now, so why would Amazon want to jump in now and open up these type of stores?
Well, yes, definitely online shopping has taken off. It's taking a bigger and bigger portion of consumer dollars. But groceries are one thing that we'll still go to the store for every week. We'll go and we'll want to pick out our fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's definitely an area where there's a lot of advantage in having a store so that you can actually get people in, get them to shop for those perishable goods that they might not be as comfortable shopping for online.
So these are uniquely the items that are drawing customers actually into the stores that they're focusing on.
Right, well, and so Amazon Go, which is the concept that you talked about first, is kind of a little convenience store almost. So you can go in, buy ready to eat meals, little cooking kits to make yourself dinner, and some other different perishable items. So that's definitely an area that they're looking at to grow their grocery business.
So they already have Amazon Pantry and Amazon Fresh. So why do they want to tap into this fresh food industry?
Well, they've done, as you said, Amazon Pantry, which you can order a lot of different kind of dry goods online. They do Amazon Fresh, where it comes delivered in a truck, and that's actually very logistically complex because you have to get the order there, keep it cold, get it delivered in a timely manner, and then make sure everybody's home and everything. So it's definitely a more complex type of food business to be in. So groceries are a huge business. They're more than $600 billion just for the edible portion of that business. And so it's something that people are not spending a ton of money online for yet, and it's something they'd like to be in.
Who are Amazon's biggest competitors right now in this grocery store market?
I mean, obviously Walmart is a huge rival. They have more than 4,000 stores, and by the end of next year, they're going to roll out a click and collect model where you can pull up, get your groceries, and then drive off to about 1,000 of their stores. So they're definitely huge in the market. Kroger has about 2,800 stores in 35 states. They're another big competitor. And Target, everybody's trying to get into the grocery business because it is something where you can really count on people to come and shop at your store every week.
So what is the difference then for retailers when it comes to large brick and mortar stores to those little convenience stores? I mean, you mentioned Walmart and Target going in on this operation as well. They obviously see an attraction there.
Right. Well, I think with the convenience store that they've announced, that's something where it's going to be a smaller market test concept for them to test out, having consumers come in, not check out at the cash register. And that will be a concept that they're testing out for payment methods. But in my report, we also said that they're looking at drive-through concepts where you actually pull up and at a store where Amazon's built capabilities for them to just drop off the groceries into your car. They're also looking at a multi-format grocery store, which will be more kind of a discount grocery store style in Aldi or Lidl format, where it's kind of a little bit more sparse, a fewer selection or a little bit less selection on products, and then you'll be able to go in and order on touchscreens to get a bigger selection. So they're looking at different formats right now to get into this business. I mean, obviously they'll be exploring different formats from big stores to little stores. Nothing at the moment that we know of that's going to be as big as a traditional grocery store, but they're definitely looking at that model.
Well, they're obviously making a big push. So let's look at the statistics from the Bureau of Labor. Cashiers, the second
interesting about will AI replace human in terms of doing jobs.
largest occupation in the country. What does all of this mean for employees going forward?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, if you put in kind of kiosks that scan your phone as you walk in and you never have to actually check out, that eliminates those jobs. However, one of the things that I was kind of surprised to learn as I've been covering Amazon, I went to one of their warehouses that's outfitted with tons and tons of robots, and they actually have to hire a higher head count there to staff that warehouse because it becomes so much more efficient. So sometimes, you see these places that are really becoming automated and have a lot of robots or, eliminate some jobs in some ways, but I was surprised to learn that in some cases it does actually create other jobs, including, people who have to develop this kind of software and make these kinds of technological advances. So I guess it kind of remains to be seen how this might play out. Obviously, it's a huge industry with tons and tons of people working in this job across the country. So it'll depend a little bit how the test plays out and if Amazon actually gains a little traction with this method of shopping.
Laura, do you think that human-to-human contact is ever going to really go away? People are going to long for that.
I don't think so. I think people will still want that. They'll want the customer service, and that's something that I think most of these retailers realize is very important for their business model.
Absolutely. Laura, Stephen.
This is one perspective, talking about how one organization applied technology in their business, which is as you heard from that's Bill, that's for her, she said that even though one job is eliminated, but there is create new jobs. I got number from Deloitte consulting firm saying that for one job that is gone, it's create 2.4 new jobs. I don't know how they come up with the number, but they actually come up with a number. But given that we new occupation, for example, like blogger, gamer, in the past we don't have that type of occupation. Therefore, it's just a way of life. Things change, but it doesn't mean it's stopped. So it's keep going and going, but it's just matter how we adapt and adjust ourselves to this changing world. And once again, to live in this new world, we have to have the attitude of learning, lifelong learning. So this is just a little bit that I would like to add about fourth industrial revolution. In Thailand, we use the term digital economy. But outside Thailand, maybe lots of people are familiar with gig economy. But I don't understand that in Thailand we hesitate to use gig economy because gig has slang. In Thailand, it's something negative. You know slang gig in Thailand?
Yeah, have many gig. Not true.
How long have you been living in Thailand?
7 years.
Oh, okay. So you must be good at Thai.
Yeah.
Okay. What about these two? How long have you been living in Thailand?
Just 3 years.
How good is your Thai?
Not at all.
What about you?
less than 3
Less than that's 3 and how good is your Thai?
ก็ได้ค่ะ
Very good.
อันได้ด้วยอันนี้แต่อีกสยาสารก็ได้ครับ
เก่งจัง Because I took Japanese and then I give out too difficult. At first I start with French, because we have to keep learning. But it turned out that French is too difficult. Therefore, it's difficult, so I changed to Japanese, hoping that it's easier, but not. Have to remember a lot, too much for this age. Therefore, give up and go with Google Translator. This is fourth industrial revolution. Therefore, we have to utilize those two. Anyway, so we have work on demand. For example, we have like freelance. We probably don't have to mostly rely on full-time employees. We have temporary employees. We have sharing economy, for example, just like Airbnb or Get, just start operating in Thailand from Gojek Indonesia. Anyway, so this is how technology affect us. Mobile internet, that's it's getting cheaper. Lots of people are using smartphone, and we can use smartphone in doing business. Automated knowledge work. Internet of Things, network of low-cost sensors, clouding system, 3D printing, and so on. So, but anyways, I quote from Steve Jobs that I really like. Talking something about even though we have technology, but actually, it's not a faith in technology; it's a faith in people. It means that even though we have disruptive technology, but as long as we have good people, we can have those good people to handle that with that disruption. So it's go back to organization that how we lead, how we manage in organization to help organization to achieve organizational effectiveness. As you can see that when in business, it's not just like we operate in closed system. Closed system means it doesn't matter what happens outside organization. It will not affect organization. It's unlikely will not happen that way. We have to consider, for example, like personal analysis, political, economic, social, technological, legal, and so on when we manage. And how we can adapt or take opportunity, or maybe we can handle challenges that come from those factors. And then it leads to individual factor, group factors, management, and organization factor. But our focus for this course is going to be leadership process, which is something that we're going to tackle in detail. All right. So before we do that, since we are in business school, this is something that our target. No matter what you are doing, maybe in statistics or operation management or finance. In the end of the day, we would like you to drive business result. As manager, as leader in the organization, this is business result. But to get this best result, you see that one part is business strategy. This is this combination of business strategy comes from vision of the leader. Mission of the company, organizational values. But from this picture, I intentionally left it blank because I have one thing to share with you, and which is something that I really believe in. This is not from me, but I heard from somebody else, but I think it really makes sense. They say that success from organization comes from strategy, just only 5%. Okay, success of the organization come from strategy, just 5%. But 95% will come from implementation. Make sense? And for me, it really makes sense because, at this age, I'm getting close to 50. So one thing that changed a lot for me that I gained weight, starting from like 40 something, and then it's very much different when I was 30. So, but anyway, I try to go back to my, to what I were. So I try to come up with strategy to lose weight. And as you can tell, fail, not succeed yet. The reason not because I don't have good strategy. I have good strategy. I know a lot of keto diet. I know paleo, in details. As a professor, I like to lead stuff, research, medical research. I do intermittent fasting. Sometimes I even fast for 3 days, something like that. Tried a lot of things, but fail because it's not sustained. For example, after 3 days fasting, I ate a lot, too much, way too much that I should eat, something like that. But anyway, I thought that my strategy is very, very good. I even consult with my sister, who is a doctor, physician. Therefore, I believe that I'm in good hands with strategy and everything. But keep failing, and the reason it failed because of my implementation. Maybe this should not bad, something like that. Actually, I should not eat that. But anyway, therefore, the path that leads to business result is not just only from business strategy. Business strategy is important, but it's just something that in your head. But it's much important. It's much more important that you can translate what in your head or on paper to actions. And this is a black box something that I would like to fill in. This is what I'm doing. And can come from leader or leadership in organization. Unfortunately, since we don't have a lot of time, maybe we cannot cover everything. For example, structure, organizational structure, we cannot. We don't have a lot of time talking about how organization should come up with the structure. Or information. But what we try to do as business plan that we have, the chance that we have, we talk about how we are different in terms of when we lead people in organization. This is going to be next time that we talk about in your differences. Talking about motivation, how and what that we can use to reward people. As leader, how you should make decisions. This is in your decision making. Working with people in a group, since the title of this course is team management. So this is what we're gonna talk about that issue in details. And unfortunately, we have to leave organizational culture for next course. As you can see that I put it here because it's quite important for organization. Most of the time, organization did fail because of their strategy. But sometimes they fail because of the organizational culture. Some people even say that organizational culture can eat strategy for breakfast. Breakfast supposedly to be the biggest meal in a day, right? Example can be just like Kodak. We heard that Kodak go bankruptcy, right? The reason is not because Kodak cannot come up with new things. Actually, Kodak hired a lot of good engineers. In fact, engineer in Kodak are a group of people who first came up with digital camera. But when they bring that up idea to management just respond with, oh, this is cute idea. Just keep it with you, don't tell anybody. Because we will not do that stuff since we are a film company. And the problem is because organizational culture of Kodak at the time is what we call complacency. They thought that they are a film company. So they want to stay with that status quo. They don't want to change. Therefore, this happened to Kodak that they have to be gone. Even the last day that they gone, they still have the best film in the world. But who used film? right? So this is, when you compare to Amazon sells books, but Amazon doesn't hesitate to have ebook and sell ebook at Amazon. This is, mindset in the organization, and one factor that affect mindset of people in the organization come from organizational culture. And I can use this to explain about Nokia. Maybe 10 years ago, Nokia is one of the best, but nowadays, not anymore. And because of some people blame the problem that occurred at Nokia because Nokia organizational culture. And maybe 5-6 years ago, I read news, and then from that news it say that Huawei planned to be number 1 in the industry. At the time, I just very ambitious. I don't think that it can happen, but I think it can happen because nowadays Huawei is number 3, right? And it's getting close to number 2. And if you look at it closely, Huawei also one of the organizations that have very interesting organizational culture. And this is the reason that they have co-CEO. They take turn to be CEO. And they can do that because their organizational culture. Okay, we will talk about this hopefully that in HR, that HR will manage organizational culture. But now, let's do what we have to do first, which is leadership. Okay, now right now our focus is going to be on leadership concept, how we develop leadership, what we should know about leadership. As I mentioned that I would like to check participation. So this is your list that I have, even though it's not up to date. But this is the one that me, Teddy had. So I'm gonna go with this version. So okay, first of all, it's gonna be hard for me to find your name and give check. So I need someone to be my assistant of the night. Who would like to be my assistant? Show hand. Thank you, Jacob. So this is leadership. Step up and help professor. Good. So okay. Not only you get applause, but you also get check first.
First check here.
Yes. Go check yourself. Okay. It's okay.
Perfect.
Where are you from?
I'm Australian.
Ah, okay.
Not from Utah, unfortunately.
Okay. Yes, unfortunately, because but where are you from?
Canberra.
Ah.
Have you been?
Never.
Don't go. It's very, very dull. Very boring.
I have to see for myself. I will go one day. Okay, so but Utah actually very interesting. I really love Utah actually. Have you been there?
Salt Lake City?
Yeah, have you been there?
No.
Anybody been to Salt Lake City before? Love it. So it's, I'm feel fortunate that I go to school there. Really like it. Anyway, so okay, so right now, Jacob, if
Yes.
anybody says something, contribute to the class, you find a name and give a check. And one person can have more than one check in one section.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Very good.
Okay, so who would like to share what you think, leadership is? Yeah? You say something?
I think there needs to be a person who leads a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
A person who leads a group that is a leader.
Yeah.
We have leader and leadership. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You know his name?
Chris. But I
Chris.
think he's not on the list
Are
yet.
you
I'm-
an exchange student?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why
We
there's.
two are exchange students.
Okay, so you need to write down the name.
What was your name again? Alex. A-L-I-X.
Where are you from? Chris?
German.
Ah,
Yeah.
actually, I enjoy German students a lot, especially when I teach here in BBA program because they are very, very good students. On time, very active in participation. Two nationality that I really like: German and Japanese. Very good student.
No Korean?
Oppa, do you like Oppa? Azuma. But enjoy going to Korea.
Oh, thank you so much.
Gangnam, for cosmetics surgery.
Oh, government loves you.
Really good job in plastic surgery. Okay. A person who leads is leader. So let's talk in details about leadership. So when we talk about leadership, what does it mean to you? What's coming to your mind when talk about leadership? Yeah.
The ability or the capability in a person who can really influence each person or a group of people to follow one direction.
Very good. Just like from in the textbook, but I like it. Okay. Because it's the definition of leadership. That the meaning of leadership is that you can influence, you can get people to be on board with you, to follow you to direction that you lead to, or to help organization to achieve common goal or work goal. This is one key that we talk about. Leadership is to influence. Okay, good. Any other? Yeah. Yes.
It's about having a vision.
Vision.
Like, looking at things in a overview,
Mm-hmm.
and then having that vision, using influence to take everybody to that vision.
Okay, very good. So, ability to visualize, have vision. By the way, when we're talking about vision, I really like definition that came from Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz is the owner of Starbucks. Okay, we know Starbucks. We are Starbucks customer from time to time. If not every day. Starbucks is very interesting that they can sell coffee at this price. And they did very well. I think that we have a lot of Starbucks in Thailand. Maybe it's just like, we have convenience store in Thailand. Even though the price of coffee is very high, for a cup of coffee. Given that, for 40 baht or 30 baht, we can, buy a noodle or rice. But we spend like 100 baht something on a cup of coffee. So the reason that, we go to Starbucks is not because we want to get coffee. But Starbucks position themselves that they would like to be in third place. First place is home. Second place is workplace. And third place they would like to be Starbucks. And it doesn't come from that furniture. They say that it comes from service that they provide to customer. For example, they're more than happy to customize your coffee. You can ask for this and this, for this and that, and to be able to do that, it's not just because they tell the barista to do. They can tell the barista to do, but we will do our good job if we don't just do it because someone tells us to do, but because we would like to do, meaning that they try to motivate the barista. In fact, they don't have employees in Starbucks. They call everyone as partners. But this is not just lip service, because they also take good care of their barista. For example, they pay very well in terms of compensation, and they're very generous in terms of their perks and so on. And they also have very supportive organizational culture. So this is vision that comes from Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz describes vision that say, vision means being to see something before others can see. If you can see something but nobody can see, it's just a dream. And this dream is not true. But if you can see something that actually exists, but you be able to see it before others, this is the vision. So you can seize the opportunity and then you can take advantage from that opportunity that you see before others. And this is, for leadership that they have that type of vision because they can see long, and then they can see faster than others. Which is one way to help us to develop our visions by maybe we have to be open-minded. We listen to a lot of people, we read a lot of books, we open our experience, and this can broaden our perspective. And I believe that this can help in terms of develop vision, to be part of leadership. And any other things that you come to your mind when yes.
Control. Your employees.
Control employees. All right. And your name is? Can you show your name? You know what? It's too far from me. Still young. Natanit.
I can tell from her voice already. She speaks a lot.
You that good. Nathaniel, somebody said you speak a lot. This is a compliment. This is good. It means that you contribute a lot. Good job. Why don't you just give them?
Because actually, I only know nicknames, not real names. So I have to follow up in
you
a minute.
do it after.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you said that to control, right? But actually, when we're talking about leadership, we would like to take that control out. In fact, maybe in the past, is the time that we say management have to do like command and control. But now it's not about command and control that we would like to see from our leader. What we would like to see, maybe, if you would like to begin with C, it can be to coach. It's different, right? To coach, and you coach, you give advice, you mentor, you help your followers. Anyway, so for me, to describe about leadership, I would like to describe with people, for example. Okay, who are they?
Elon Musk.
Among these four, there's one man that is a man of my dream. Can you guess? Who said that? You said Jack Ma. You have reason. This is my type. All of them have vision because they're leaders, so all of them have vision. But how come Jack Ma?
I really like his way of thinking.
Me too.
So,
Me too. I really like his way of thinking too. And that, admire, he has vision. He said something that I find is interesting. For example, he said something like, nowadays it's not salesperson who do sales for organization. Actually, the best one to sell your stuff is your customer. Your salesperson just get great care of your customer. Because when your customer sell your stuff, it's believable. People would like to buy your product if they listen from your customer, not from salesperson. And for me, this makes sense. Your customer is the best one to sell your product, not your salesperson. And this is, I heard from Jack Ma. But anyway, one clip that I would like to show with you from Jack Ma, I find it very interesting. I like Jack Ma's belief.
Don't worry.
That he keep fighting. He talking about failure. Most of the time we take failure too seriously. But actually we gain. We can gain a lot from our failure as long as we learn from our failure. Failure will be real failure if we don't learn anything from that failure. I read an article which talk about return on failure, and I like it. I mean, because as human being, we can fail, but the thing is, we learn from our failure and we do something different. Before we listen to this clip, let me tie that with the concept and idea that I heard from TED Talk. Professor Angela Duckworth, that talking about her research, that she tried to study what make people succeed in their life. Is it IQ or is it something else that make people, succeed in their life in their career? And it turned out it's not about IQ, it's not about talent that make one good or better than other. That one thing that is called is grit, G-R-I-T, okay? And what does it mean by grit? Grit means passion and persistence. And this is something that organizations now say they're looking for when they hire person in the organization. Maybe they don't care much about where you graduate from, some organizations nowadays, but they would like to look at that characteristic. Grit, G-R-I-T, passion and persistence. You understand passion, right? You so just into that with work. Maybe you have no reason to explain. For example, just like for me, I have passion with pole dancing, even though it's hurt a lot. It hurt my skin, but for some reason, I don't know why, but I have passion for that, for dancing. And persistent means that you keep going, even though you fall, but you get up and then you keep going until you achieve your goal. And this is similar to what Jack Ma shared about his experience about his failure. Okay, let's listen to this together.
Any mistake is an income, is a wonderful revenue for you. So I told myself and told my young people, before 20 years old, be a good student. When you do entrepreneur, just to learn some experience. Before 30 years old, follow somebody. Go to a small company. Normally in a big company, it is good to learn processing. You are a part of a big machine. But when you go to a small company, you learn the passion, you learn the dreams. You learn how to do a lot of things at one time. So before 30 years old, it's not which company you go, it's which boss you follow. It's very important. A good boss teaches you differently. And from 30 to 40 years old, you have to think very clearly when you're working for yourself. If you really want to be an entrepreneur. When you're 40 to 50 years old, you have to do all the things that you are good at. Don't try to jump into the new area. It's too late. You may be successful, but the rate of dying is too big. So 40 to 50, think about how can you focus on things that you are good at. But when you are 50 to 60 years old, work for the young people. Because young people can do better than you. So rely on them, invest on them, making sure they're good. So when you are over 60 years old, spend time for yourself. On the beach, sunshine, but it's too late for you to change normally. But this is my advice to the young people. 25 years old, make enough mistakes. Don't worry. You fall, you stand up. You fall, you stand up. Enjoy it. I mean, 25 years old, enjoy the show, enjoy the show.
Okay, thank you. 또 다음 질문 받겠습니다.
26살 엠샵업자 김주임과 와인에게 질문들이 있습니다. 지금까지 살아오면서 가장 후회되는 것이 무엇인가요? 그리고 혹시 물어본 적도 있으시나요?
Yeah.
Your answer doesn't
Normally I make other people cry. Well, I regret a lot of things. I regret that I should never meet the media. I regret I should not speak in the public because I could have my own privacy. I regret that I working so hard, spend so little time with my family. And I regret that if I have another life, I would never do things like this. And my wife just said, you do not belong to me, you belong to the Alibaba. But, you know, life is so short. It's all about experience. People see different view. Some people think you're rich, you're successful. I mean, not. Some people say, you know, this guy does not have money, he's a terrible guy. Maybe not. So everybody chooses his own life. I cried. Never sort of we had a lot of problems that people never thought. Because running a company for 34,000 young people, operate a company for more than 500 million people. If 500 million people, if 1% of them are bad guy, you got a 5 million bad guy. So it's heck. But it's too late to regret. Forget about regret. Think about, I have another 10, 20 years to go, so enjoy the show, enjoy the ride. You are the same.
Right, I thought it's interesting that talking about it's okay, to have failure. Just fall and stand up, and also enjoy life. This is just the way that we should live our life. This is from Jack Ma. This is one of the example of great leader. And what about this person? This person, can you tell who he is?
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, he's the richest man in the world. Very interesting too. When we talk about Amazon, we think about Amazon, that organization that provides excellent customer service. And maybe because this is from what he believes, he embed that belief in Amazon organizational culture. One of the value in Amazon is customer obsession. So whatever they do, they think about customer. For example, in a meeting, they will leave one chair empty. Nobody sit on that chair. But Jeff will tell everyone that imagine that, customer sitting on that chair. So whatever we do, think about customer. So that is it. Amazon. Okay, Jeff Bezos. And this person, you're gonna know about this person in your article because he's the one that ranked #1. in terms of the best performing CEO, and his name is Paulo Islam, CEO of Inditex. Inditex is, retail company, fashion industry, Sarah, that's, company that's Paulo Islam. And this person, Elon Musk, that's, for me, I admire him that he has had purpose, that he would like to save the world. In fact, it's said that character of Batman, is actually took after from Elon Musk. He's one that he's passionate on what he is doing, and in terms of leader, he's very good leader in terms of, even though someone say that he can be very cold, and maybe for example in the meeting he will not be very happy if that someone in the meeting say nothing. He's gonna go directly to that person and say, if you say nothing in the meeting, you have no reason to enter the meeting. But actually, in fact, he's the one that try to avoid meeting because he believes that it's waste of time. When you want something, just go and talk to each other directly. Anyway, but he is also a one person who has worked very hard. It's difficult to see him sleep on the floor, factory floor. So that is those examples of world leaders that show leadership. How about we take a break, and after break we continue. Or during the break, if you have questions, go ask.
Where's your name?
101.
Oh, unfortunately, not listed here.